I'm really looking forward to talking to Adam. It's been a while. So,
Hey,
Adam, hey,
got me here.
really,
Dale, have I been promoted?
you've been
You're you're
promoted?
you're in you're in, Adam.
All
Yeah,
right.
Good to see you, buddy.
you're now
Hey,
you know what your promotion is? You're
what's
now
that?
you're a senior broker.
See, okay.
Remember those titles? Not a junior broker.
Well, you're not.
You're
Oh,
experienced. You're a
well,
senior broker.
you're not a cashier at Walmart. You're an associate. So
I did that this summer. I was a greeter. Hey, hi, welcome to Walmart.
here we
Yeah,
go.
use your credit card. So, buddy, let me ask you, top of mind. We're in September now. No excuses anymore about, oh, everyone's on vacation and, there's not much going on. Do you think that we're going to have a wild September or it's just going to be, you know, the way the first week was?
I mean, the Fed decision is about to get a lot more interesting, right? The soft jobs report. Now we're flirting with 50. We were writing about Credit Suisse or Credit Agricole this morning. I'm not sure who it was. Changed from 50, changed to 50 from 25. The risk here is you get some disappointment if the Fed doesn't go 50 now. I'm interested today. We have Goolsby speaking at 1:45. Bit of a hawk right now. It hasn't been talking about cutting. I mean, he's kind of a dove in general, but he's not too eager to cut right now. And so if he comes out and says, maybe we need to hit it a little harder, that could be the start. I'd like to hear from some of the core Fed members about what they're thinking. And if they're not going to do 50, I'd expect them to push back on that pretty hard,
Okay.
uh, really
So the
aggressively. So that could that's this week's kind of playbook. I think that's it. And then in the bigger picture, I'm just thinking about the big picture.
okay. Well, maybe if he disappoints, even be more bullish the long end duration because this to me was the comeback of the week, right? We started with the gilts and the problems over the cabinet reshuffle in the UK, and it went across the globe. Germany, Japan, yields were spiking, we gapped down. And where we were by the end of the week was just an amazing turnaround. And we're right at a major resistance point where we could have a breakout here that could take us up to 93. Can you see a narrative that would take us there? Maybe the disappoint, which means, they're not just going to debase
Well,
and
I mean,
and flood.
a terrible economy is what gets you there, right?
Right.
Lots of job losses, and I think the market's coming around to that thinking. I mean, we're stuck on tariffs and all these changes, and you could, I guess, the bond market's starting to come to the conclusion that if you just have a lot of excess unemployment, like excess workers, you're not going to have an inflation problem in a service-driven economy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm fully on board with that because the tariff playbook is so tough. I think all we've learned so far is it takes a while for some tariff inflation to kick in. And it's really hard to look through all that. But yeah, you can see it was UK yields highest since 98, I think
Yeah.
last Tuesday morning. It was a bit of a
Yeah.
panic and then big turn through the week, capped it off with soft non-farm payrolls. But all week, right? Beige Book was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Anecdotal report saying pretty much flat growth across the country. Not a lot of optimism in that one. Jolt's a little worse. I mean, the ISM services was okay, but not so much to hang your hat on last week. And the
It's the
risk is
best.
you get the high CPI, right?
It's the best blue weekly candle you could look back for months. Maybe the last blue candle, big
I
candle was
mean,
like
you're
this.
talking like 470, right? In 20s right now. I mean, if you
Yeah,
look at it on the yield perspective, 470 is
yeah,
not bad.
yeah.
It's not like investing in gold for a week when you get 470 every week, seems like
Yeah,
lately.
yeah.
Um, and I think, people ask me, oh, yeah, what do you do? US is, a mess. And I said, Japan's a mess this week. UK, I know Canada's not looking great on a lot of fronts. There's no safe haven currency anymore. That's what I'm telling people. Like
Okay.
there's no currency that's a safe haven. I think that kind of idea is due for really a rethink. I mean, yeah, you're going to get risk off days and flight to safety and the old knee jerks, but if you're looking for somewhere to camp, it's precious metals and that's it.
What could upend this,
What was
or a
that?
correction? What could upend this type of thinking? I know it's pretty ingrained. Central banks have been doing it for a while, but it's not like gold's been rallying because of risk off.
Well, that's it. It's kind of
Okay,
come through a few environments, right?
it's been a risk on trade, hasn't it?
But it held up. It held up on some rough days too. Tuesday, we kind of had that poor open and the bond market kicking, screaming. Gold did well then.
But I
So
mean, look, here's a weekly in gold, pretty
I,
much up from 24. And then here's a weekly in NASDAQ, pretty much up, same time. It's all one market. Every once in a while they diverge from each other, but it's not like gold is going up because everything's falling apart. You know,
yeah,
and
maybe.
that's why most people bought it because they thought there was going to be problems in financial assets. And instead, they've run up together. So if we ever have a correction in risk, won't gold be part of
I,
that too?
I think gold's okay if things are bad, but it gets problems when things are really bad. So, if you can have an orderly, it takes 10% sort of correction, gold's fine. If you
Yeah.
get things falling, you know, like the start of COVID, a crash, then everything gets liquidated. And I think thinking about the bigger picture, I was off for a little bit this summer, and you look at the kind of macro of markets, and it's just investing is such a fad right now. Or trading options, leverage has
Yeah.
never been more available. The amount of
And we're
money that's,
also at margin records right now.
well,
Margin.
everything's just flowing in, right? Like the valuations don't matter in tech. The money keeps piling in. The options are amplifying everything. It's a crazy setup right now for everything. It obviously ends badly, but the party really is going. And
What could stop the party? My guess is a reversal in the dollar, which doesn't look like it's going to happen until we make one more low. But in this, eliticians would call it ending diagonals. Do you think that's really going to be the key? Really, dollar's been going down. Dollar goes down, everything goes up, Adam.
I mean, if I
So
think something has to happen in the psychology of the market, something big has to change. Whether it's Congress, getting really austere, or the bond market blowing up. If the bond market blows up somewhere, it could happen anywhere, right? And I don't know if it's going to be the UK or Japan or the US or it's hard to say, but it's so intertwined. So I would worry about the fiscal side more than anything, but that it could come from austerity. It could be war, it could be like AI right now. Like for my baseline, as this goes on for another couple years, the AI trade is, I think, made everyone willing to ignore any kind of valuation and believe that the profits are going to be there. Right now you have like Duolingo. Have you seen like they're trying to meme Duolingo into existence? And it's like this is such an obvious loser from AI, but people want to believe it. I see what you're saying about Nvidia. That is a little bit of a troublesome looking chart there. And
yeah,
I think I'm talking big picture here. If I'm looking at September,
okay,
seasonals are weak. The
yeah.
Fed's probably going to disappoint. Um, there's a little bit to worry about here, but if we're down,
But
five,
it'll
six
be a
percent,
buying it'll be a buying
I think you're
opportunity.
in the buy the 5-6% dips,
Yeah.
where you can
Okay.
get it, and not
Yeah.
necessarily in Nvidia, but in the Nasdaq.
Yeah.
And
Nvidia
the
could
money
trade
just
140.
keeps flowing in, and then I think you have sort of upside now on the tariff decision. To my sense, like the Trump admin might lose on this.
And that would be bullish, the
I would
market.
It's disinflationary, so now the Fed has more reason to cut. I mean, maybe they try to slap them back on, but they got to refund all that money. So right, you have
Yeah.
this money just getting stuffed back into the market. Oh, it's not really going to trickle down to consumers, but it's great for shareholders. For like, I don't know, Nike or whoever's paying the most tariffs, it's probably worth looking into.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be interesting. Because
He was-
I asked someone about it when it came to copper, and they kind of took that market away from us with the tariff stuff. We have this, and now we have like, it's in shock. They cleaned out all the bears and the bulls, and now it's kind of like an EKG of someone in a coma. Um, I mean, it doesn't look good to me. I don't know. I know you've always loved copper. What's happened with tariffs
well, there's like
change
sort of
anything?
U.S. copper and global copper, right? There was this U.S. premium built in on the expectation of tariffs, so you have like the kind of global market's pretty good for copper still.
Yeah,
Uh, like you see, have these hard assets that still look good. I think governments in the West are increasingly turning into China, and they're taking that infrastructure spend and stimulus, right? In the U.S., it's manifesting in these huge subsidies to AI and chip plants and power. Canada, we're talking about building rail. I think this kind of hard asset investment probably bodes well. You'd like to see more from the private sector, but it is going to happen in power demand. I mean, have you seen power prices are creeping up? And I think
yeah.
copper's on the other side of that. And so,
So
no, I
is
couldn't be more
so is
bullish
it.
or
So
gold,
is
but
this. So
yeah,
is this.
exactly. It is
Nat gas
energy's
turning. Nat
energy's a
gas turning.
problem. Energy is a problem. But gold, like I think, why are we overthinking all this? Gold, it broke out, it consolidated, it broke out, it goes up every day. You don't have currency risk. I mean, look how it doesn't get any better than that chart right there. It's right out of the textbook. The fundamentals are all there. I still don't feel it's a crowded trade. The
Oh,
miners are
come
cheap.
on.
You
You
think
don't
it's
think it's
crowded?
crowded? Yeah, find me a bear.
Well, that's fair enough, but I just don't think
I
Main Street's there.
I don't know if I ever say anything negative about gold. I get a lot of pushback from people, like if the Bitcoin crowd, if you're bearish, same type of thing. So I don't know, DSI's been near 90 in the gold and silver. So it certainly is not a contrarian trade.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. But it's like we've
Yeah.
been bullish since 2000, and it's been the same thing all the way along. Governments can't balance a budget. Central banks don't know what they're doing, and now the world's just getting more unstable.
Yeah.
And it's just like I don't know. Why should
I
it stop
mean,
working?
well, someone said, what if there's peace between Russia and Ukraine? I really don't see that happening. But how about this? Russia, new sanctions coming on. What if a central bank sells some gold? Would that trigger it? A
Yeah,
correction?
sure. I mean, like, who's selling though? I just don't like why. Uh,
Well, Russia's ruble's cracked.
I
So I
mean,
mean,
but the central banks are always kind of on the wrong side of it. I mean, everybody puked out their gold at like $500.
I remember.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and then
I'm
I think of the geopolitics. It looked like JD Vance, bragging about blowing up drug dealers, right? Using the military to blow up boats. And then you have Russia, right? And then the Middle East. Like I think just if you think of the war side or the peace side, I feel like the rules of engagement have just changed in the last couple years. Like this sort of facade about the global order and war crimes. Like it just seems it doesn't matter anymore. And I feel that is probably the bigger trend within the trend is that we're just going to see the mightiest countries do whatever the hell they want.
okay. Well, that can't be great for financial stability.
Yeah, but great for
Eventually,
gold.
right? Yeah, great for gold. Dollar, do you foresee any kind of bottom
I
coming
just
in the
I
dollar?
I can't get behind this idea that inflation is contained. Um, there's just too much. It's coming in the pipeline. And unless the tariffs get taken away, I think that is to me the next quarter. If I talk to you every 3 months, and
Yeah.
you could if I could ask a genie one question, and skip ahead to say December, it's what happens to the tariffs. And then I don't know if maybe Congress will reauthorize them. I don't know. It's some pretty slim margins there. I don't think they will. That's my base case. So I think it really hinges on that. If you lose the tariffs, it's a big dollar problem because you have a fiscal problem, and you're going to get some rate cuts. But then again, he has pretty good global growth trade. So yeah, I think you just leave dollars on that. You buy emerging markets, commodities, commodity currencies,
Okay.
because it makes the world a lot more simple. And I think risk assets just go bananas, and
Okay.
that would be a
Yeah.
pretty strong signal.
I mean, are you in the camp that before we have this bull market end in S&Ps, they'll have a 7,000, 7,500, 8,000 handle?
I think 2 years, like this party goes for 2. It obviously ends badly. You can see all these things like that, like the global order falling apart. Like globalization has been so good for stocks.
Well,
You know,
why will it last for 2 more years? Why not just
it's
one?
just such a frenzy
The-
that I just think
Okay.
the money just keeps, it just gets tested and it's bulletproof. And I think the Fed has a huge put, right? We're four and a third about right now. I mean, you can
Yeah.
cut 200 basis points. That it's hard to sell off stocks when you know the Fed's got your back. You know what I mean? If we were to see a
Yeah.
5% drop in the next week, Fed's cutting 50. And if it gets
Okay.
worse, they'll cut another 50 next month. And so that's there. I mean, a lot of it's priced in. You start to worry, okay, we're priced out on the curve, 150 basis points from here through next year. How much more is there in the tank? You maybe have 100 more basis points there. Once you get to the bottom and the Fed can't do more. I don't think we'd price in like more QE, or probably price in more fiscal stimulus though, at the risk of inflation again. But I just like that setup for a couple years. And I just think the AI trade has room to run. Things are still happening. I'm there too, trying to poke holes in it, saying this doesn't work. But like the things are working, and it's obviously bad for Main Street, great for Wall Street. You're going to have huge layoffs, and
Yeah, I know.
that's just the idea of it, right? It's great for now, and then you replace I don't know a portion of the jobs, and then there's no money to spend on things anymore.
Yeah, they're saying right now, kids coming out of college, entry level, cannot get hired.
Yeah, they're getting
So that
smoked.
they can't get in the door.
And the only like if I think about last week, all this data, right? The only thing that stands out to me is the McDonald's CEO just telling it like it is. He said low end's hurting, middle's
Yeah,
hurting, the top end's doing great. And I just
yeah,
just look for investment themes around that. Like I'm looking at aviation, flying. I think it's pretty good. I mean, you have airlines trading like 4 times earnings.
okay,
They're
interesting.
cyclical. It's a tough industry, but there's no AI disruption. Like the planes that we're flying on today, we'll be flying on in 40 years. And
Okay,
that's
yeah.
sort of a
Could
place I'm
I?
thinking a lot about.
How about agriculture, Adam? I mean, I've been looking, fertilizer stocks because um, I think that grains, which have been the weakness for a long time, have turned. Here's the corn. So big long-term base, nice initial rally. Of course, we could get a pullback, but the grains and natural gas is needed to make fertilizer. That could be everyone's buying that gas, so it's kind of like the bridge, but for the AI centers, data centers, before we have uranium to supply electricity. So here's corn, and from where it was at the invasion of Ukraine, I mean, even bear market rallies. Look at this space here. Here's wheat. Look at the space here. Beans. Look at the space here. So I think, and plus, I think Ukraine, big breadbasket, right? They have drought threats in Ukraine. And if there isn't peace and things intensify, and I don't know what you think, but to me, it seems like some of these European nations want to take on Russia now. They don't want peace. So if that continues to fester, we may not be able to get grain out of Ukraine. So anyway, I think these were they're the most out of favor commodities because they've gone down and infinitum. And as far as your inflation argument, these grains are pretty good, pretty big input to everything else that we buy at the grocery store. So, if we're about to come out of this bear market and we get a good recovery or even get back to where we were, look at where we were,
Well, yeah,
$15 beans.
I like what you're showing on the chart
Okay.
there. I don't know the grains that well, and
Okay.
I don't know. I don't predict the weather,
Well,
but
build a silo and learn.
that on a risk reward, those charts do look kind of compelling. If you think it's, you don't have a ton of risk at the bottom end there, especially that wheat
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
look at wheat.
got a bit
It
of a
was
base there if
it
you want to
was
control risk.
yeah, it was almost $14.
And then I think though, you think, well, if that's the case on Russia, I mean, oil's kind of compelling too. If you talk about pretty hated,
Yeah.
did pretty well today on that OPEC boost. It wasn't, middle of last week, that wasn't on the radar. Friday, the murmurs started. Pretty strong
And the whole
today.
world's bearish. Whole world's bearish.
Well, I
on
don't know. They
everything.
keep adding barrels. Like, I don't know how these barrels are getting absorbed. I mean, a lot of the ideas that OPEC it hasn't been delivering what they promised. But that summer can kind of mask things sometimes. And then you're going to get to like Christmas time and nobody's wanting these barrels. And that could be a real problem for oil. But if you get $40 oil, I mean, I think it's great for a little while, but it's totally unsustainable.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of like the dream trades you look for. You look like a hard asset, totally blown out. I mean, the investment just stops in the 40s.
Well,
Probably in
you're
the
good.
50s, to be honest.
You're a good technician. So this was a technical argument for nat gas. Okay, so it's
Oh, you're missing that.
that's the S&P, but it was based upon what happened last year. Okay, so last year was a low, right? And we had this nice move, about $3.50 to 5. And since last March, which about 4 or 5 months of consolidation, and looks like we're putting in a higher low, and we could come out of here now. So this could be a 3 or C to the upside. Could be a money wave. Anyway,
I mean,
that's
there's a lot of LNG demand coming. Like the builds are coming and coming and coming. I mean, the economics of taking $3 gas from the US or $1 gas from Canada and selling it on the world market for $13 to $20, it's unimpeachable that those kind of economics. You just got to time the build out of the LNG.
How about Europe, Adam? Is Europe still dependent upon Russian natural gas?
Well, they seem to be all right. I mean, that was the trade 2 years ago. The costs are pretty brutal. I mean, Europe is pretty incredible to me right now that the ECB's been, I think, just telling it like it is, saying, hey, this has been better than we thought. We're coming through tariffs okay. Growth looks okay. We kind of cut at seemingly an okay time. Still have a little bit of fuel. And you were talking with the other guys beforehand, 120. I mean, it's kind of beckoning the euro, a little bit of momentum. Italian stocks, I think, best in the world this year. Italy, I mean, unemployment rate there is it the lowest since the 90s in Italy? So something is going right in Europe, but truly the most hated place and well deserved. But not Italy, not like Europe in general, but I love Europe, but not the stock market or the economy. But something is happening right now in a few places at least. It's hard to get excited about Germany. They're just going to get smoked by Chinese manufacturing, it looks like, and the auto game. But I guess that's all priced in, and it's
stimulus for defense. They're spending. That's why people are bullish, right?
It's like the Europe gets its act together trade. I mean, everybody has always wanted to buy that. It just doesn't seem like they've actually got their act together, but something's working. Uh,
Have you guys rebranded Forex Live into
we
Investing Live?
are investing live now, and that's we've kind of always been, right, Dale? Like we talk
Yeah,
about everything when I come on.
we do.
So it's a macro focused site on investing in really everything. It all moves together, like you said earlier.
Yeah, it's a big
And
jigsaw puzzle.
I don't want to, buy if I want to buy Italian stocks instead of the euro. I mean, a lot of it's the same trade anyway, and you want to find where the torque is, or gold miners instead of gold, or
Yeah.
sectors within the SPOOs, or everything else. And it just feels like the leash is off a little bit to talk more about the sort of broader investing landscape and drill down even into individual names, which we think we can add a little bit of value that way, or at least something thoughtful, and then tie it back to the macro, which is what I do, and try to make magic happen once in a while.
Yeah, larger the universe, the more opportunity.
Yeah, and I think you see that. I mean, for retail, listen, a lot of institutional people love Forex Live, but you can't pay the bills the way our site is with that. And retail needs, like, there are pockets, even smaller cap places, undervalued things that, a $500 million stock, like there is just huge opportunity in that. And I think the world has been in this place where, CNBC's on, and you can't talk about these small opportunities. And we want to address that because there are huge opportunities out there. In
Are you
in
talking like micro caps?
Not, I mean, I don't call that a micro cap, but we're not thinking, a $10 million company or anything here, but
Okay.
sort of it just drilling into the full investing universe, and not necessarily, like, I'm not trying to pump a meme stock, but letting people know that there are lots of things for retail to invest in, that's
Yeah.
not Nvidia. I mean, it will turn at some point, and there's
Yeah.
having a broad knowledge of everything, it pays, as you know. And
Yeah.
so we're just we're ready for that, and I want to be that guy that'll tell you that, hey, like, here's where you can camp out for a safe 7%. And
Well, you could be my camp instructor anytime, Adam. You
well,
can be
camp
you're
counselor with
yeah,
sing-alongs, we'll do it to song.
Good. Well, I
You
can't
play
wait to
guitar,
do.
don't you, Dale?
Yeah, I can't wait to do
You do the
Kumbaya with you,
guitar, I'll do
man.
the singing, we'll
Well,
light the
the camp.
fire.
We'll have s'mores, shots of tequila, everything.
We'll make
What
songs
the
about
heck?
silver and
Yeah, we
airline
will.
stocks. And
Anyway, it's interesting to get your take on everything again, Adam. It seems like it's been ages, and I'm always glad to talk to you and have you share what your focus and beamed in on. And I hope this expansion is bonanza for you guys.
that's very gracious of you, Dale. Thank you very much.
And I know it's going to be good for the trading public, and I hope it's good for you too.
Well, that's what we do.
And
We put it out there. It's always been free. It's just
yeah,
stream of conscious on what's happening in the market minute by minute. And we've been doing it 18 years now, and people like it, and I like doing it. So we're gonna keep on doing it and try to do it better than ever. Try to get better every day than the last, and solve the puzzle one sort of data point or talking point or market move at a time.
highest conviction idea for the next few months.
That's just gold. I mean, just do what's working.
All
I
right,
don't
okay.
think I don't I just don't need to overthink it right now, and
All right.
get it to 3,800. Is that enough? I mean, it's not. I don't think you're not retiring on 3,800, but
Yeah.
it should get. The
Uh,
seasons are a little weak in September, but November, December, January seasonals and gold are great.
okay. So you have an upside target on
I mean, it's
5K?
4,000, right? It's close
Yeah,
to 4,000. I mean, topped out right at 3,500 in April. I think it
yeah,
likes the big round numbers like Bitcoin
yeah.
or whatever else.
Well,
So,
that would
and
be
I don't
third.
know. I think that's the easiest technical trade. The fundamentals are all there. We'll watch what the
Well,
Fed does, but I'm curious to see what happens with Cook. That's sort of these are the game changers, right?
yeah.
If Trump can stack the Fed and dictate lower rates,
Then then the U.S. becomes Turkey.
Yeah, exactly. And what's the upside on gold in that? Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy. Stephen
yeah,
Mirren standing there last week, the Fed governor nominee, saying nobody asked him to lower rates and he's going to be fully independent. Give
yeah,
me a break.
yeah.
Like,
There's not a lot of truth out there nowadays, is there?
it's
Huh? Uh,
it's
I
what people
know,
say
I
anyway.
know. Anyway, you know the truth is in price because that's what people worship. That's their money, and if they're putting money on it, that's the truth for at least that minute. And I want to keep an eye out for 3,700, bro, and see if there's any kind of reaction
Yeah,
from
we'll see. I
there.
mean, that's not the contrarian trade. Like, you make
Yeah,
an argument that something like lumber or grains, like you're talking about. I mean, there's some not
yeah.
great stuff
I
on the other side of the
yeah,
contrarian trade too, and you
I
can
think there
barbell it.
yeah, or there could be some rotation. Metals have gotten expensive, grains are cheap, just like the rotation of different sectors in the market. The same can happen in commodities. I've seen
Yeah.
it. Anyway, great talking to you, buddy. Family okay? Everyone doing okay?
Doing great. Actually, they bought a house on Friday, I think so.
Oh, wow.
And so they'll have me put the dress
Yeah,
up in the
well,
office there for you. So it should be all right.
okay. Well, are things for sale? It's a buyer's market still?
It is a buyer's market. It's nice to be buying in a buyer's market rather than what it was in 2022 when people were
Yeah,
going nuts there. So yeah, it's
yeah.
getting bad in Canada. It really is. It's tough
How
to
much
jump
off
in.
the peak are we? How much off the peak
Oh,
are
we're
we,
like
bud?
where I'm in the near Toronto, we're at least 25, 20, 20. I mean, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better, I think here.
Yeah,
So
it's interesting.
it's a Canada's in a pretty tough spot here right now.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. Well, then there's
very-
got to be a great place to buy the Canadian USD CAD
oh yeah.
eventually, don't you think?
Oh.
136-ish, something like that.
Yeah, I think I mean, it's tough on the dollar side too. Like, there's nowhere to camp. So
Yeah,
you try to just find things that are going to work in any environment, or you just close your eyes and buy Nvidia. I mean, we had 3 chances to buy it at 90, Dale. Kept
I
going
know.
back to 90. I said
Yeah,
after the first time, if it gets back there, I'll buy it again. Didn't.
yeah. Well, next time if it gets down to 90, you won't want it.
Exactly. Well, it's just, isn't that the way it always is? So I don't know.
Anyway,
You
yeah.
gotta find something that works for your, how you trade and how you think and everything else.
Yeah. Well,
Just
Adam,
you don't got to catch them all. You just got to catch them once in a while.
I enjoy the way your mind works in the market. Thanks for edifying our
Uh,
community today,
very
buddy.
much.
And you can follow Adam on X at FX_button and go to investinglive.com for some great content. Um, I believe that Adam's one of the better minds out here in FinTwit. So keep him on your radar.
Well,
Thank you,
God bless
bro.
you, Dale. Appreciate that. Have a wonderful week.
All right. Thank you, brother. I'll get a hold of you. We'll talk in the fall.
You got it.
All right. Adam
Thanks,
Button,
everyone.
everyone. Follow him on X at FX_button and check out their site, see what they're talking about now. And that's a wrap for me. Join the team in 9 minutes on the Morning Edge. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Adios.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with Forex Analytix. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.